Hi, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1224. Just a second. I can't talk and type at the same time. I can chew gum and walk at the same time, but I can't talk and type at the same time. So I just wanted to do a little edit. Here we go. And save and post. Tomorrow. Oh, not the right one. That one. Let's delete that one. Madison Card Show tomorrow. Sheraton Hotel on John Nolen Drive. Four rooms, 200 tables. So when you come into the Madison Card Show tomorrow, by the way, John Nolen Drive might be a little sticky in traffic tomorrow. It's also the Dane County Fair, which takes place across the street. Same weekend as Broadfest, same weekend as the Dog Show, same weekend as the Dane County Fair. So it may be a little tricky getting in. If you come in early, though, I don't think the fair opens till later in the day. So I think you should be good in the morning. As always, parking is going to be tricky. If you can carpool, that's the best option. Sheraton does have a large parking lot, but we have a lot of people that come into the show. So the parking lot's always full. So you can use the Sheraton parking lot. That fills up pretty fast. The neighboring hotel to the south is also a Marriott Sheraton owned property. You can park in that parking lot as well. Basically, if you can find any parking spot that's legal to park, if there's any sign that says you're going to get towed, don't blame me. Park in parking spots that you're able to park. If it says don't park there. If it doesn't say don't park, you might be able to park. You probably will be able to park there. So just be advised that parking is typically pretty tricky. Unfortunately, I don't have a way around that outside of you carpooling, or maybe down the road we do a shuttle service, but I don't know where you would park to get the shuttle. So just be advised on all of that. When you come into the Sheraton Hotel, if you come in through the main entrance, the front, you've got the lobby, the bar and restaurant off to the left, front desk to the right. If you veer right and go straight back, that's the Williamson Ballroom. Before you get to the elevators, if you veer right, take that hallway to the right, that's where the TCG room is going to be. Only TCG in that room. Badger Stateroom is what it's called. It's down the hallway to the right side on the first floor. Before you get to the elevators, go down that hallway. There will be TCG in other rooms, all the other rooms. If you shop TCG from regulars, they'll be in their regular spots. But TCG room, I think it's mostly there's a couple vendors in that room that have set up before, not typically regulars. Some are semi-regulars, and most of them are first-timers. So that's the TCG room. Of course, the Williamson Ballroom. And then if you veer left, you go past the Fiat that's in the lobby, past the elevators, back left corner, that's the State Street Ballroom. And then, of course, upstairs where we all started the show, the Capitol Ballroom and the Mezzanine, which is just a fancy word for the hallway. There's going to be about 20 tables in the hallway, and of course, 75 tables upstairs in the Capitol Ballroom. So 200 tables throughout the show. Show hours are 9 to 3, but you can come in early. Early birds are welcome. It is a large show. It's only a one-day show. I understand it's hard to get around. If you're looking through boxes, it's tough to navigate the entire show in a short time span. So come out early. And, like most one-day shows, dealers start packing up a little before closing time at 3 o'clock, especially in these summer months. So it's better to come early than to come late and try to beat the crowd, because some dealers will pack up early, being summertime. So, of course, it's free admission. How many 200-table shows have free admission? Probably not many. We do in Madison, Wisconsin. Come on out tomorrow, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolen Drive. And if you're if you can't navigate based on my explanation, there will be plenty of signage. I went out and bought a ton of new signs sign stands. I printed off posters. By the way, Walgreens had a phenomenal deal because posters are $32. So I try to be a little conservative with what I print at $32 a pop. But I'm looking around online, and Walgreens has a 50% off sale right now for photos. Summer days, I think, is the coupon code if you want to print off Walgreens photos. I love Walgreens for printing photos. So I printed off, I think, 4 posters yesterday and got those at $16 each. So great deal. I'm thinking I should probably print off some. I've got another 99centcards.com poster that I should print up and get that for $16. So I have 2 of those. But coming out, see us tomorrow, Madison Card Show. I was not live yesterday. I did post in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group why. We had a late night at the emergency vet on Wednesday night. We had to take Biscuit in. I could tell when we got back, I could tell she wasn't like her perky self, which is, she is in heart failure. So it's just the way it is right now. But over the next couple days, her breathing was more and more labored. So Wednesday night, we ended up taking her into the emergency vet. She had more fluid. Her heart's enlarged. Her kidney levels were elevated. So she ended up, unfortunately, having to stay overnight at the vet. When we called first thing yesterday morning, we did receive a bit of good news. Not only we came to the difficult task of, what do we do? Is she going to come out of this? On one hand, we don't want to leave her alone in the vet in this condition, like we're leaving her. And also, but also we don't want her to pass away without us being there. So it was like, what do we do? Do we end it? Do we leave her here and see if she can beat this? Which is a terribly, terribly awful conundrum. So we decided let's do some treatment, and we'll leave her overnight, see how things go. So called first thing in the morning. It's like the vet couldn't believe how well she came out of it. But it was her second bout with going into heart failure, which is not good, especially being only a month and a half, maybe, since her first bout of it. So they want it 6 months, and since it was only a month, probably a very short time span of life to go for poor Biscuit. So it's probably down to weeks before she goes into a third heart failure, which is going to be the end. So we are every day. A friend of mine reached out. Thank you. You know who you are. And I said every day is a blessing. There's been a couple times where I didn't think she would make it through, and she's fought through. So we've just come to the harsh reality that these are the end of days, and the roller coaster sucks, but every day is a blessing. So Biscuit's still with us. In fact, right before I came on, she's on additional medication, which is basically keeping her alive, and she's not suffering. Like she's not her perky self, but she's older and she's in heart failure. So it's not like we're being selfish and keeping her alive for our own selfishness. She is clinically, like the vets say, she is clinically good right now until it happens again, which probably won't be the case, and it probably will be time to end it. So took her out to go potty. She's learned. So one of the pills she has to take has this like smell to it, and she just doesn't like it. And they're horse pills. So she takes half of the pill, but I cut it in half again. But it has this like smell to it. She loves cheese, and we wrap it in cheese. Well, now she knows that cheese means pills. And so now we've had to trick her again, and we wrap it in turkey. and she loves turkey. So for now, she's taking her pills quite easily. So I took her out. She's on Lasix as well, increased Lasix, which is going to make her potty a little more. So took her out this morning right before I went on. Took her potty, gave her her pills. So she's on those pills 3 times a day now. And hopefully we can get as much time as possible. You know, it sucks. But that's why I wasn't here yesterday morning. I wasn't really in the spirits to talk about shitting my pants yesterday morning. And I really didn't sleep in that much. I slept in maybe 30 minutes more than I normally did, but I just wasn't in the mood to go live yesterday morning. So I am today. So Madison Card Show's tomorrow. Talked about that. eBay, I added almost 1,000 1970s singles to my eBay store yesterday. I preach about following my eBay store because you might find great deals. You may find steaks at yogurt prices in my eBay store. Because sometimes I just I just don't comp. And you know, sometimes I know and I have an idea, and it's like, I better check this. And sometimes it's like, oh, it's a $2 card. But sometimes it's a $10, $20 card. Sometimes I list it for $2, and it's like, well, it's Mel Blount. He's a Steeler from the 70s. I'm going to list this for $250, which is what I did with the 1975 Topps Mel Blount. This is why you should follow my eBay store and take advantage of my pricing errors. So I listed a 1975 Topps Mel Blount for $2.50, free shipping in my eBay store. Received an offer like right away, and I'm like, well, of course, it's a Steeler from the 70s. They're popular. A little bit later, I received a second offer, and then it sat in my store unsold for several hours, and then a third offer came in. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I wonder if this is a Mel Blount rookie card. I looked it up. Sure enough, it's a Mel Blount rookie card, and I declined all 3 offers. And I'm like, I'm going to list this for $12.50. Relisted it, and guess what? A few hours later, it sold at full price, $12.50. Don't get greedy and try to get a $2.50 and offer me $2 when it's a $12 to $15 card, because you just lost. You could have had that for $2.50 and you could have resold it for $12.50. So just be like, ooh, $2.50. Don't try to save 50 cents. So that happened on another card as well. I think a Marvin Barnes rookie card. I had an offer, and I'm like, I'm going to look this up. And sure enough, it's a Marvin Barnes rookie. And that one, I think I relisted for $7, declined the offer and relisted for $7.50. So check out my eBay store, 99centcards.com. You can save even more if somebody bundled. Maybe they could have found some other cards that I mispriced and saved an additional 25% without any offers. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout. 99centcards.com. I added a whole bunch of 75 Topps football, 75 Topps basketball, I think 74 Topps basketball, 74 Topps football, 74 Topps baseball. So check it out. Almost 1,000 cards listed in my eBay store yesterday from the 70s, and I'll be adding. I still have probably 10,000 more to list throughout the 1970s, mostly from 70. Now I'm at probably 74 to 78. I don't know how many of the 78 Topps I'll list, but certainly 74 through 76 for baseball. Actually, 76. I hate 76. I don't know. Those actually may go in the late 70s baseball commons, may end up being 99-cent free shipping cards. But I'm getting close. I'm at, I think, 55,000 active listings. So I may temper the 70s stuff and focus on some of the newer stuff. I'm still going through by the way, the Goodwill palette last night was going through the 92 Bowman box, and I was flipping through it the other day when I found it, because I did find a Mariano Rivera 92 Bowman in one of the boxes. So I found the 92 Bowman, I found the 92 Bowman box the other day, and I was flipping through it, didn't see a Mariano Rivera. There were 2 Mike Piazzas, which are 15 to 20 bucks, I think. Chipper Jones, which I can't remember, 10 bucks maybe. Bunch of gold foils, and didn't see a Mariano Rivera. So last night I'm like, you know what? I pretty much got caught up. I'm caught up on shipping. I'm always behind. Like I'm not behind. How do I say this? I'm not caught up, but I'm not behind. I'm on time with my shipping. I have over 100 items to ship, but none of them are behind. 128 awaiting shipment. So I got pretty much caught up, and I listed almost 1,000 cards, and I'm like, okay, now I can sort. And pulled out that 92 Bowman box, and I started going through. It's like, okay, this is what I'm gonna list 92 Bowman next, and started going through. And I think for the Mariano Rivera, I was looking through for the top loaded cards and figure, well, he's probably going to be top loaded. There were 2 more Mariano Rivera 92 Bowmans. They were just penny sleeved. Everything was penny sleeved in the 92, which is nice. So 3 Mariano Rivera 92 Bowman rookies in this Goodwill palette, along with the 93 SP Derek Jeter. I may send off one of the Mariano Riveras to PSA. We'll see. I am going to send the Jeter SP to PSA. By the way, tomorrow I'm going to receive back. Here's a fun story. From also the estate sale. It wasn't all vintage, but it was like 98% vintage from the estate sale. But there were some random junk wax era in there, and then there was like maybe 100 early 2000 cards in there, like just random stuff. Like I think somebody just bought some blasters, basically. In which there was a 2007 Topps Chrome blue refractor Justin Verlander, the Gold Cup second year card, and it looked pretty clean. Now I found it in a big box, cards basically just thrown in. Not sleeved, no protection whatsoever on this chrome blue refractor Verlander second year. And I'm like, this is actually a pretty good looking card. So I'm like, I'm just going to try my best with it. And it got the wipe down treatment from from 5-star cards for an additional $3. I think he'll do the wipe down and basically like an inspection. So I'm like, I'm going to do that with a chrome because I don't know how to wipe it down and all that stuff. And plus it's good. You know, he'll tell me, yeah, I think it's going to get this or that. So he did the wipe down, and he reached out to me and he said, so I'm looking at this Verlander because I initially wanted it to go to PSA also. And he goes, I don't think it's going to grade well at PSA, but I think if you send it to SGC, you'll have a better chance of getting probably a 9. But if it goes to PSA, it might be an 8. I'm like, okay, let's throw it to SGC. So of course, SGC is a quick turnaround, and he reached out to me this week and he said, hey, your Verlander came back. He's like, do you want to know now, or I can just bring it and surprise you? You could be surprised at the show on Saturday. And I'm like, I like surprises, but I don't really care. Like, I'm not, plus it was one submission. It's like, I'm not going to do a video on here. So, just tell me what it get. A 10, a motherfucking 10. Loose in a random box, chrome blue refractor, a motherfucking 10. Now, you're going to say, it's SGC. But it's a 10. It wouldn't have got a 10 from it. Probably would not have gotten a 10 from PSA. So I don't know what that goes for. There's not too many listed on eBay. There's no 10s of any sort on eBay. So we'll see. We'll see what it does. I think I may list it for like 300 best offer and just field offers if they come in. So Verlander, Hall of Famer. So this is it was a nice card. I submitted 4 other cards. F-bomb. That's right. A motherfucking 10. I submitted 4 other cards from that estate sale. The Walter Payton rookie, the Dr. J Julius Erving rookie, a George Brett rookie, and a 1974 Topps Nolan Ryan. Those 4 went to PSA. I did do the elevated service, not the there's like 7 different service levels for PSA. The second from bottom, not the cheapest, but the second cheapest. I think it was $40 per card. And then I started looking at, it's like, ooh, if this card comes back, this now the Peyton and Dr. J, no matter what, it doesn't matter. Like I'm going to make money back on all of them, obviously, but we don't want to minimalize. We don't want to get you that yogurt. We don't want yogurt prices. So, but I did want them back fairly quickly. And I'm like, I've got room. Like the Peyton and Dr. J alone, that'll pay for the upcharge on the $40 per card. So, because I think the Nolan Ryan, like, I mean, it's really clean, but I don't know. Like, again, I don't know grading. Somebody reached out to me yesterday regarding my Michael Jordan lot and said, I'm really interested in this lot. Do you know if 8 or 9 of these cards would grade a 9 or 10? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I just said, I have no idea. A few hours later, somebody else bought it full price, $130. I had somebody else send me an offer for $25 for the Michael Jordan 50 card lot. And I'm like, ain't no way in hell. Like I've sold like 3 or 4 of these for $100 plus. So there you go. So I won't have the PSA results back from those vintage until probably the end of August. I'm thinking the August Madison Card Show is when I'll get those back. I don't think they'll be back in time for the Janesville show. I'll talk to Matt tomorrow from 5 Star. If you're coming to the Madison Card Show, you can drop off your cards to 5 Star Cards. Send them to PSA or SGC. I did pick up an old Judge. I bought it right before I left for Switzerland. I did pick up a old Judge Cubs card that I found on a Facebook group. So I think I'm going to drop that off to SGC. The Jeter is going to go to PSA, and then maybe one of the Mariano Rivera's. The one I did list one of the Mariano Rivera's last night. It's got one of the corners has just a little ding on it. So that's in my eBay store. I'm going to check over the other ones and submit one of those. So, and I don't think there's anything else that I had planned on submitting. I've got a bunch of Cubs stuff that I'll probably eventually send in for SGC for my PC. But I don't think I have much of that stuff gathered yet. So Madison Card Show tomorrow, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive. What else is going on? Hey, I did eat sweet corn. Since I wasn't live yesterday, Wednesday night, I did pick up some sweet corn. I did a different method. Me and my buddy, when we were overseas last week, a couple weeks ago, we were talking. I'm like, how do you make sweet corn? Because he's an Iowa guy. So Iowa knows their sweet corn. And I said, because I do different things on making sweet corn, but what I've come to realize in my own cooking methods, boiling the sweet corn is the best. Yeah, you can grill it and all that, but boiling is the best. I've had the best results from boiling my sweet corn. So I tried a different method. And so I brought the water to a boil, a rolling boil, and then I dropped in the sweet corn. And I also put a bunch of salt in the water as well. And then I dumped in the sweet corn. And then I think, what did I do next? Did I bring it? I think I brought it back to a boil once the sweet corn is in, because once it dumps in, it stops the boil. And then it heats back up enough. It boils. And then once it got to a boil the second time, then I turned the heat off and let it sit for like 10 minutes. It turned out pretty good. I don't know if that's usually when I boil corn, I just throw it boils for like 10-15 minutes, boom, I'm done. So maybe I think maybe I should have let it boil for a little longer. But I mean, it was cooked, but it wasn't hot. Like I like my sweet corn coming out of the pot but we were also, my wife made salmon with it. So I think I might've been waiting for the salmon to finish. And so that's why it cooled off a little bit, but I like to wait. Like ideally in this scenario with this dinner, ideally it would have been, I'd have my salmon and my gnocchi and my sweet corn. And the sweet corn is going to be so hot that I can't bite into it or it's going to burn the shit out of my mouth. So I leave the sweet corn to cool off. I eat my salmon. I eat my gnocchi. And then I dive into I'm the typewriter. I do the typewriter form. And I've got those little corn on the cob holders. That's why I eat alone with sweet corn. But my wife was with me. I just look away. Don't watch me eat sweet corn. So let's go to the chat. We are 25 minutes. Hey, it's a free-for-all Friday. We're going to reset the leaderboard. Do I have the leaderboard? Name that player leaderboard. So Max won. I think he's 2 in a row. So Max won with 53 points. He edged out Card Hobbyist, who made a great run in our previous game. 52 points. Uncle Rich, he stormed back. Once I got those vintage and I added some vintage into the mix, Uncle Rich made a nice little run. He finished in third place with 31 points. Flipping Sports Guy, he finished in fourth with 22. Matt Like, hey, speaking of Iowa, Matt Like from Iowa, he finished in fifth with 14 points. We had a tie for sixth place between Joe Trotto and Dan, Korean Cardboard. They tied for sixth with 13 points. And then we had a tie for eighth place between Flawed Thinker and Harlan. They had 11 each. And Brian Bourne came in 10th place. He is Offbeat All-Stars. He finished in 10th with 9 points. So we are wiping the slate clean. And we will play a new game of Name That Player later this morning. I've got a mix of baseball, only one football today, and some celebrities, just a few celebrity cards. And I've mixed it up. There's a couple modern, a couple vintage. So a nice little mix as we start a new round of Name That Player. Hey, also, I want to talk about, before I get into it, our friend Victor Roman just authored a new book. I thought I had that link up. By the way, this is not a, you can find the link to Victor's book in the description of this video. He did not ask me. I did this because Victor's an awesome dude, and I am looking forward to reading this book. I'm going to buy one on Amazon. Let's see. What is that? Why do I have stuff in my cart? No, we don't want any of that in my cart. Okay. So Victor, the rookie card specialist, has a new book. It's now available on Amazon. The link to the book is in the description of this video. It is titled True Rookie Cards, a systematic approach that filters through the fluff so you'll know which rookie cards to buy. And I know which rookie cards. I don't necessarily know which rookie cards to buy, but I just have my own, like, okay, I'd rather have this rookie card than that rookie card. But I'm interested to read Victor's wording, whatever, his book on true rookie cards. So check it out, True Rookie Cards, available on Amazon. Victor Roman Sr., friend of the program, and you can buy it on paperback, only $17.99. By the way, that is not an affiliate link in the, I thought about it, I'm like, because I'm posting it and I'm like, oh, this is an Amazon link. I should get my affiliate, but I don't know how to access that. So nobody's earning anything off that link. So go buy Victor's book, True Rookie Cards. Check it out. Link in the description. Kyle, good morning. John Nolen Drive is going to be a busy place tomorrow with the Dane County Fair. I looked up, Dane County Fair does not bring in the big guns like Bratfest. You know, you don't see Queensryche. You don't see 1/5 of the original Village People. You don't see Quiet Riot. You see some local stuff. I looked at the lineup and I hadn't heard. I think Madison County is playing. They're big in the area. They're a big regional band. But Dane County Fair doesn't bring in the entertainment that a Bratfest does. Dane County Fair, I think it started yesterday. It is on the same grounds as Bratfest. So Dane County Fair going on right across the street from the Sheraton Hotel, just across the street, which is John Nolen Drive, the Dane County Fair this weekend. Lewis, good morning. Steel Cards in the house. TGIF. George is here. What's happening? Todd in the house. Good morning. George says you're 24 hours late. Listed hockey and soccer. No hockey and soccer. No hockey and soccer. Although, hey, I am speaking of hockey and soccer. Well, I guess hockey is not a summer Olympic sport, but soccer might be. I don't know. Is soccer in the Olympics? I don't even know. But I am excited for the Olympics. Hello, Tiger727. Good morning. I'm excited for the Olympics, which I believe the opening ceremonies are this coming Friday. Or wait, today's Friday. Next Friday. Next Friday, the opening ceremonies. I'm excited for the Olympics. I was actually looking for, and I may have had they had the replay. USA played Serbia in men's basketball in one of the, not a qualifying, like a warm-up match, I think, or warm-up game, whatever. So was watching that on. I wanted to have a game on. The other night, Wednesday night, I watched, which has always typically been known as the worst sports day of the year, the day after the All-Star game. There was sports on, and I watched sports. Guess what I watched? I watched almost the entire Indiana Fever versus whoever they were playing WNBA game. I was into it. Caitlin Clark Fever. I've caught it. It was exciting, and now they're off for a month because of the Olympics. So the NBA's off season. So, but yeah, WNBA right in season. So they're taking it off for a month. But I'm excited for the Olympics. I'm excited to follow. I've always been into swimming. Swimming's probably like my favorite Olympic sport to watch. Swimming events, the short track and field event, like the 100, the 200, those are fun to watch. I'm going to try to get into basketball this year because I typically don't watch much basketball in the Olympics. But I'm going to try to get into basketball, especially 3-on-3. I'm excited, especially since I met the women's 3-on-3 team on. We were on the same flight to Switzerland, so get to watch them in action. Jimmer Fredette's on the men's 3-on-3 team, so that's cool. So I'm excited. Olympics start next week. Victor, good morning. East Coast Tom's in the house. Good morning. Steve is here. Happy Friday. David, good morning. Herman's in the house. Good morning. Mr. Archer is here. Good morning. Scott is in the house. Good morning. Tracy, good morning. Zach and Porter says, is your signage impacted by the outage? My signage not impacted by the outage. I've got a couple friends who are stuck because of this global cyber outage, including this guy. He says, fuck Friday. Yeah, how about this global outage? Like a whole bunch of it, like all the main airlines, I think Delta, United, American are all impacted. I think one of the airlines, I think Spirit might have been, Frontier, Spirit were impacted yesterday. I think a couple of the Korean airlines, there was like a software. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't want to be a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but now it's like, I wonder, is this like a cyber attack? They're blaming a software update. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's impacting hotels, a whole bunch of crap. Let's see. Where are we at? Brian, good morning. George says, poor pup. Yes. Keep Biscuit in your thoughts. Thank you. Good morning, Philly Joe. What's happening? George says, disregard my second comment. LRS somehow got my password and posted. JW, good morning. Happy Friday. Been a while since I've caught a live stream. Welcome back. Mark Marinello, good morning. Thank you. Every day is a blessing. John says, fixing your eyes won't help. Why the hell did you approve LASIK? Right. Different LASIK. Thank you, Zach. Good morning. Happy Friday. Johnny Boy Cards. Philly Joe says, we had to put our dog Benny down a month ago. It stinks. Prayers and condolences. Thank you. That sucks. I'm sorry about Benny. It just, and I hate going to the emergency. Like when we were in the emergency vet yesterday to pick Biscuit up, there was this beautiful big German Shepherd. And he looked like just such a big old teddy bear. I love puppy dogs. And this guy looked like he got in a fight or something, because looked like he had blood on like around his mouth. And I saw his human had blood. She had like white shorts on and she had blood on the short. I'm like, oh, poor guy. He looked to be in good spirits, but obviously it's not good. I could not, my wife and I were talking about it on the drive home. Like, we love animals. We love dogs. And to work in an emergency vet clinic like that would just be awful. Because, I mean, the dogs, you go to a regular vet and it's usually like, I mean, they're going in, sometimes they're going to be sick. But, you know, I think for the most part, you just go in for regular checkups. It's not like the dogs are in peril. But you go to the emergency vet, there's a reason they're there, and it's not a good reason. So would hate being there, because you see these dogs. Zach says, why would people be so dumb and not just buy it at $250? I know, right? This upsets me and I'm not impacted. And that is living proof that I'm an American to the core, right? And it happens consistently. It's not like this is the first rodeo. This is going back. If you're just joining, I had a Mel Blount rookie card in my eBay store listed for $2.50 with free shipping. And it was in my eBay store for several hours. It comps between 10 and 15 bucks. And I had 3 offers. 2 of them were $2. One was $2.25. Somebody tried to save a quarter. And I declined all 3 offers, and I relisted it for $12.50. And then it sold a few hours later at full price, $12.50. Like, you're trying to save 25 cents on a $12 card? Like, come on. So thank you to those people who helped me with comps. Like, oh, this might be worth something more than $2.50. George found some steaks at tofu prices on ComC the other day. Yeah, get you some. $4 for a couple of cards that comp in the 13 to 15 range. Nice. You're getting those steaks for yogurt prices. John says 1976 all-time greats are the best subset ever. Red Light 34 just made a big purchase from the Crane. Hey, thank you. Thank you. What Red Light 34? Oh, I think that was a big purchase. My dollars went up. Good morning, Harlan. What's up? John says people never pay sticker, I'm told, regardless of how well it's priced. Apparently, there's a lot of truth to that. Zach says, I can always tell when you find something you want to list quickly. Your TV room's couch makes the background. Yes. Jake Taylor received that honor. Zach and I made a nice little trade. I traded a Sandberg rookie card and threw in a Tim Anderson autograph. And he sent me a couple Major League Archives cards, which, by the way, if you find those in the quarter box, buy them. If you find them in the dollar box, buy them. I didn't realize when Zach says, hey, these comp, it's not that I didn't believe him. It's just like, I don't know. And so I had the Jake Taylor and Eddie Harris sitting on my scanner. And I've had so much stuff come through. I've been buying so much lately that it just kind of got set on the side. And I'm like, oh, I have these Archives Major League cards. And then I had a Mariano Rivera that I just pulled. I'm like, I'm going to list these from the couch tonight. So was on the couch with Biscuit and listed the Eddie Harris sold in like 30 minutes. $25 for the 2014 Topps Archives Major League insert of Eddie Harris. $25. Jake Taylor still in my eBay store. I think it's still in my eBay store. And so is the Mariano Rivera, I think. John says, George, they'll be worth $4 again by the time ComC gets around to shipping them. But Brian says, I lowball only on hockey and soccer. That's my one rule. That's a good rule. After further review, it may be your carpet, not couch. Oh, it's the couch. I can't confirm if the carpet does indeed match your drapes. I can only assume the mushroom coffee hasn't impacted that. No. The background to the Jake Taylor is in fact the living room couch. George says there is truth in that statement, John. I just bought a scanner, a CT scanner going into the hobby box evaluation service. Right. I was watching the Mike's Retro Show on YouTube. I really like their dynamic. Those three guys. It's Mike and Joe. Who remembers Mike? They're still, by the way, Mike and Joe, the cover band, they're still touring. They're playing soon to be Anawan Fun Days, probably. No, they're playing a lot of like town festivals. Mike and Joe. Of course, they were playing the Change of Pace in Macomb 20 years ago. So they've actually probably moved up in the tour circuit. But Mike and Joe, great cover band. Anyway, Mike, Joe, and EP, I think, is the third guy. So Mike's the retro card show. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact name, but it's a great show. I've been watching every week. They were talking about the CT scanners, and I think Ziggy No might have brought that up. What they were talking about last week. And they one of the guys mentioned it was talked about on the new Golden Touch, the second season of Golden Touch, and I'm like, yeah, like when I was watching that on the Golden Touch, and they were inspecting for like the original iPhone, and so they could like X-ray the box to see if it was the actual iPhone or if somebody just resealed it with rocks, right? And I'm like, this seems kind of shady. Like, you can X-ray boxes. Now, I know you're gonna, if you X-ray like a box of cards, it's not gonna, you're gonna, ooh, that's got the superfractor 1 of 1. It's not gonna show you that. Well, who knows? With today's technology, maybe it can't. Maybe today's CT scanners can. But when that came on the Golden Touch, I'm like, that seems a little like shady to do that. What do I know? Zach says, in the last 6 months, Bo threw out a first pitch, became an expert on vintage and grading cards. This hobby evolution is amazing. Dark basement Bowman football Bo is dead. The F-bomb. Value box digger. Know what's dumb about SGC? You can only do an order on one level. If you take advantage of the $12 basketball deal, you can't include football cards in the order. Get you all on that shipping cost. Yeah, and that's why I go through group subs. Not only do you save money going through a group sub, but you don't have to pay shipping on that stuff. So like I sent off to, like in my order, to PSA was in one order, and then obviously SGC's a different order, but I didn't have any shipping costs. I don't even know what I'll find out tomorrow to pick up my Verlander from SGC. But I think PSA pricing, the cheapest was $19 a card, and I paid $40 for the second tier to get it back a little faster. Zach says you will spend more on grading than you did buying all those cards combined, which is amazing. That Peyton will be a 1000x ROI. No, I think I'm going to end up paying it. If the Walter Payton comes back at 10, then I'm going to be upcharged, but it's not going to come back at 10. So at 40, 160. So I'm going to spend about $180 on grading. $180 total. Because I just subbed the 4 cards to PSA and then the 1 to SGC. And I don't have plans on, I pretty much everything else that I would have sent off to grading was sold raw. So $180 in grading fees. Pending any upcharge, which I don't foresee happening. Value box digger says, which obviously, yes, you'd pay the higher price on the football cards to SGC, but you can't even include them in a promotion order. Zach says, if you find a Mariano in poor condition, I will trade you for it. Zach says, hello to Jenny. Make sure TCG buyers know to check more than the main room for them dealers tomorrow. There has been concern. There is plenty of signage. Brian says, good morning. Sold 1 card in 3 days. Super weird. Usually 3 to 5 a day. Crazy. That is. my sales have been normal. My sales, nothing. Now I've also added, you know, I've probably added 2,000 cards this week, 70s cards. So I've been adding a lot. So that's obviously a lot of that is coming from those sales. So Iowans know 3 things: wrestling, sweet corn, and Slipknot. There you go. There's a lot of truth to that. Nick's in the house. Examine Baseball says, I have a bunch of first series garbage pail kids, including the first cards in the set. Any recommendations for a grading company to use? Ooh, I have no idea. I have no idea on garbage pail kids. I would not know. I don't know if CG, what the hell is it? CGS. I don't know if that would be the way. PSA. I don't know. I would say probably PSA or CSG. CSG. I think that's what it is. The C one. Because they started doing comic books and transitioned, but I don't know. I honestly can't answer that. Let's see. Oh, Brian says pork. Yes, Iowa also knows it's pork. Value Box Digger says Caleb Williams finally signed with the Bears. Delay was he wanted to be signed as an LLC to avoid Illinois taxes and make it a forgivable loan so he wouldn't have to pay taxes for up to 10 years in the future. What the hell is in the water in Illinois? I don't know. John says, congrats, Victor. Brian says, speaking of steak and yogurt, I had an amazing Australian Wagyu steak. Unreal how good it was. Ooh, that does sound good. Very cool for Victor. How will Victor sign the Kindle version? Stuke's in the house. Good morning. John says, I know Caleb has better advisors than I, but he'd be paying more in FICA as an LLC than he would in state taxes, I assume. And I don't know, and who am I to know? But he's not paying state taxes. He's not paying 100% of his salary in state taxes because he's also taxed in other states that he plays. So when they play Green Bay, he's taxed on Wisconsin. He's taxed in Minnesota. He's taxed in Michigan, wherever else they play. So I don't know how that breaks down. But I'm with John. Caleb has better advisors than I. Stuke says, how much vintage at the Madison Card Show? Let's see. Tomorrow, trying to think of my vintage dealers. I've got some dealers that have some really cool stuff. Greg downstairs. He has like a lot of pre-war and vintage. Let's see who else has vintage. I'm trying to count how many dealers have vintage. No. And some I'm not really sure of. No. I've got some first-time dealers that I don't know. Okay, there's 1 vintage dealer, 2 vintage dealers. 3, 4. No. 5. How about 5 vintage dealers? 6. 7, 8, 9. No, I don't think he has vintage. Where are we at? 9. 9 going once. Going twice. No vintage there. 10, 11, 12. 12 vintage dealers, and they take up 30 to 35 tables because many of them have 3 tables each. It's decent. It's a good mix. There's probably 20% of the show is TCG. I'd say there's less vintage than TCG. A lot of modern. There's a few wax, like hobby shops that sell wax. So there you go. That 70s Card Show has been to the Madison Card Show, and he can probably advise you. And I think probably the dealers that were set up when John came to the Madison Card Show, pretty similar to what's still there. There may be a few additional dealers with vintage than when John was there, since we've opened the additional room. Philly Joe wants to get autoed copies. I bet Victor, the rookie card specialist, could help you with that. Michael Renicky, good morning. 4.95% versus 7.65%. That would be increase in FICA. Mr. Archer, what do we think the Cubs are going to do at the deadline? Hold or sell? Oh, I think the Cubs are going to hold. I don't think they're going to make any splashy moves one way or another. I don't think they're going to sell, and I don't think they're going to buy. I think they could make some deals, and here's why I think they're going to make some deals. They have a bunch of players that are close to major league ready that they will either have to release, not release, but have to expose them to the Rule 5 draft because they're at their 6-year mark, or put them on the 40-man roster. So they have some hard decisions to make. And there's a few guys that are pretty obvious, like, yes, these guys are going to go on the 40. Owen Casey is one guy that he's going to be added to the 40-man roster after the season. But then there's a bunch of other guys that are in AAA and could help some teams. So I think we'll see some trades of those types of guys, those players, for who knows what, maybe a shitty reliever. A Jose Cuas type of player. So don't get too excited. So I don't see the Cubs making any splashy deals one way or another, because they're in this like holding pattern, I guess. John says, what about Thursday as well? No games yesterday. WNBA. Cooter says, good morning. Could we please talk about the National, as I can't seem to find anyone discussing it on their videos? If you're going to the National next week, wear comfortable shoes. That's the tip. And bring plenty of water, and all that good stuff. I will not be going to the National, but the National's coming to me. So either Sunday night or Monday morning, I will be meeting up with the Singles Club here in Madison on their way to Cleveland. He's got a whole bunch of stuff for me, so I don't have to go to Cleveland and dig. So he's like, hey, I've got like 50 to 60,000 refractors and serial numbered and colored stuff that I don't have time to sleeve to get into the boxes for the National. Do you want to buy them? So we agreed on a price, and so he'll be driving right through Madison Sunday or Monday, and he's going to let me know when he comes through. So that's in a couple days. Today's Friday already, so Sunday or Monday. So I may that may be something I'll do a video on, just to show, hey, Singles Club comes to me. So, and I'm going to have to bring something, because we since 2019 I've done photos with my Cubs Cardometer in front of the Singles Club booth, and I hit 1 million this year. So I'm going to have to update. I'm going to have to, because I don't think my sign, actually it might say 1 million plus on it. So I'll have to bring that and take a photo, because I wonder what our first photo was. So that was 2019. I'm gonna find it. 2019 would have been July. Actually, let's look into August. So I'm at 1millioncubs.com, and let's just share the screen. Where's August 2019? Okay. So we went to Door County that year, that month. Oh, that was fun. This was when somebody, Bill, lives in Alabama, reached out to me, and he said, hey, I've got some old vintage Cubs I want to give you. And he's like, I'm going to be in Madison for work. And he was a consultant for a company that handled like computer chips, which I could see that the place he was going could be seen from my backyard. So I'm like, just swing on over. My wife loves it when I meet strangers on the internet and invite them into the house. Okay, so let's see. Justin Grimm helped me. Justin Grimm's wife helped me get his autograph. Let's see. 1millioncubs.com. Meeting Kyle Hendricks. That was a story. Hey, there's the first time I met Justin, my buddy Justin. Tips. There it is. Tips for the National Sports Collectors. There it is. Hey, and Bronco's in the background. I didn't even know Bronco at the time. How about that? Is Bronco in the house? Who else can I see in the background? Sometimes Uncle Rich is looking. I bet Dr. Beckett's back there somewhere. So the first time that I shopped the singles club at the National was 2019, and the Cubs count was 327,609. By the way, the shorts I'm wearing in that photo, I am wearing right now. I never change clothes. How about that? Bronco in the background. Who's in the Phillies hat back there? That's pretty cool. All right. So there you go. Uncle Rich, there he is. Good morning. John says your e-bike and treadmill were also most likely affected, but we'll never know. We will never know. I'm getting close to thinking about going for a bike ride. I think next week I'm going to break it out. This week's just been too crazy. Hopefully next week hopefully the weather abides and I can go for a bike ride. It's been too long. Stuke says, Ant said his biggest surprise about the Olympic basketball team was that 40-year-old LeBron can still dunk. Uncle Rich says, hey, could have been the day before the National and no one could fly to Cleveland. Oh, wouldn't that? Oh, my God. I mean, people complain about Topps Chrome. We know, like, people are complaining about Topps Chrome boxes being junk. Duh. This isn't anything new. They've always been junk. Topps Chrome's like the worst return on value of products all year, of like the mainstream products. It's terrible. Oh, this is junk. One guy on Twitter was like, they hide the fact that you only get 24 cards in a box and you're paying $2.35 per card. No shit. It's not hidden. Are they going to market the fact that, hey, buy this Topps Chrome box and pay $2.35 a card for a rookie that will never play again? Like, come on, man. Don't be, what's that one? Vintage Card Check says, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Topps Chrome, it's terrible. Brian, it's cool cards. There's really cool cards, but don't buy boxes expecting to get the really cool expensive cards. You're going to get a shitty rookie card that's going to sell for $3 next week. Brian says it was likely a disgruntled Initech employee looking for a stapler who set the server farm on fire. I love it. I think is there a couple IT references in there? Office Space and the IT is the server farm on fire. That was a show. What was that called? One of my buddies, he's a nerd. I'm a nerd too. He's just a different kind of nerd. Turned me on to some IT show, and the server caught on fire, and it was ridiculous. And I didn't watch it again. Biscuit's okay, but she's at the end of life stage. She's hanging in there. She's back home. We picked her up last night, but she doesn't have much time left. Dogs are awesome. Mine is ending his journey, and I will be devastated. It's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible to watch them suffer, and then to just think of, like, Biscuit has been with my wife and I the entire, like, Biscuit was about a year old when my wife and I met. Like, Biscuit has been part of our relationship the entire time. And it's devastating. George says, I put on my foil and say that Brother to the North is doing in collaboration with Tater Juice, Putin. Because we had a message service out yesterday here, then the plain stuff today. Crazy. Value Box Digger asks Rich, it could still happen the day before the National, and I'll watch Twitter and the people talking about Nationals seriously. Kyle says, I almost bought that Jake Taylor card. Then I looked and Tom Berenger does not do TTM. Well, son of a bitch. Value Box Digger says, everyone would have been chasing the rookie cards of Caleb Williams, LLC. The Bears, I said it last year and I was wrong. I'm going to say it this year. I might be wrong again. The Bears are going to win the North Division. Bears are going to win the North Division. Good morning. There's Brian Offbeat All-Stars. Retro Trading Cards, great channel and show. Jenny turned me on to that. Retro Trading Cards. Yes, good show. John says, and in some group subs, you don't even have to worry about getting your cards back. There's some truth to that. Dystemic's in the house. Good morning. Going to the Twins Phillies on Monday, hoping to meet Matt Strahan. Very cool. Great dude. Great dude. Orlando's in the house. Good morning. Zach says, I can tell this outage is impacting you. You were normally very positive, and that last comment was on the negative side. Yeah. I meant the grading on those specific cards, not the entire purchase of cards at the estate sale. Yes, you're right. Yes. Sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, $180 for the grading. Depending on what the Peyton and Irving bring back. And the George, depending on the grades, but still, I paid on those 4 cards because I didn't pay $1 each on those. I paid $1 for 3 of the cards, and then I paid 8 cents for the Nolan Ryan that I submitted. So, $3.08 was spent on those 4 cards, and $160 on grading. John says, I'll be better when the Admirals Club opens in 13 minutes. Dan says, what's the difference between corn on the cob and sweet corn? I think it's the same thing. Sweet corn and corn on the cob, same thing. You could say corn on the cob is what you, and then sweet corn is like the actual corn. So what we did when I boiled the ears, I don't think my wife had any. But we took the knife and cut it off the cob, sliced it off the cob and put it, and then I had that for lunch yesterday. So I think there's not really, sweet corn is corn on the cob, but I guess you could say the sweet corn is just the actual corn, whereas corn on the cob, it's still on the cob. George says, you think the Walter is going to come in at the second tier price range? I suspect it's going to get a grade that bumps it above that since the second tier on cover $4.99 value. Oh, see, I have no idea what the tiers are. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to grading. This is the first time I've ever submitted to PSA, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So the Peyton will probably, the Peyton I would assume will come in at a grade that will comp it higher than $4.99. Because if it comes back, even a 7 it sells for over 500. An 8 goes for like 1,000. So I think that's I can't see it getting higher than an 8. But who knows? But I also can't see it getting lower than a 7. It'll probably come back like a 5, and I'll be pissed. Zach says, John, I hope you already had singles on you for the Admirals Club. I'm assuming the ATM is closed too. I wonder if ATMs are affected. Zach says, I'm with George. I was believing that Sweetness would come back a 7. It seems like it's been based on the photos that I posted. 7s and 8s are what people are thinking it comes back. The Dr. J has a pretty nasty corner ding, so I'm assuming the worst. I'm not the worst. The worst would be a 1. But I think the Dr. J is going to come back a 2 or a 3, which is still good. I mean, for $1 plus the $40 grading fee, I'll still make my money back. So I'm really hoping for an 8 on the Peyton, but I'm trying to resign myself to a 7. Anything below a 7, I'll be pissed. The Dr. J, I'm expecting a 2 or a 3. And anything above that, I'll be elated. Didn't Caleb also insist on an ownership slice at one point? I think early on, like before the draft, he wanted to have a slice of ownership by the team that drafted him. But I think every single NFL team, thankfully, said, no, we're not going to do that. Yeah, I'm a fan of Caleb Williams now because he's a Chicago Bear. We'll see how long that lasts. Before the draft, I wanted them to keep Justin Fields and not draft Caleb Williams. But it is what it is. He's a Chicago Bear. I'm going to like him for now. We'll see how that turns out, how that all plays out. Zach says, John, there are a lot of things I've read on the internet that are all true. Rumors about Caleb was a cottage industry for clicks. That's a good point to that. If only there were YouTube videos walking through the Madison Card Show to see the floor. There used to be, and then I stopped doing that because it took too long. Let's see. Zach equals fanboy. Not even close, says Zach. I just got sick of all the sports personalities filling content for months about every hiccup. You'd think Caleb was a National Baseball Card Convention. Yeah, there were more Caleb Williams rumors videos than tips on the National. Shipping costs did go up on USPS postage prices went up. Those took effect this past Sunday. John says, I recently tried to buy a 1,000 card lot of colored cards. The seller wouldn't budge. I bet you lowballed the seller. I bet you were a lowballer. Lowball Lou. My family is more excited about our punter from Iowa getting a lot of love this morning than we are for the quarterback. I've seen this movie before. When does training? Zach will know this. When does training camp start? I'm assuming next week is when training camp begins down in beautiful Bourbonnais, Illinois, at Olivet Nazarene University. John says, I already have my 1,000 refractor cards signed, ready to go. Takes two to tango. Bargain Boxers in the house. Good morning. I'd be going to Madison since you hit 200, but I'm saving it for the Nationals. There you go. George says, pay $2 for a rookie that was actually a rookie in the first week of 2023 and hasn't made an appearance since. Right. Uncle Rick says, Dr. Jim would not be in the 2019 Singles Club photo. I finally got him into the magic of Singles Club in 2021. Really? Now that I am shocked. I just thought he was a regular customer to the Singles Club. I didn't realize he's that new to the Singles Club. Let's see. Mine. 2 weeks from today, we will be talking them Bears as they play Texans on Thursday the 1st. Yay. Yeah, we will be talking Bears then. John, are you in the club? Is your internet better? Free coffee in Danish? David says, Halton Cath Fire. Is that the IT show you were talking about? No, I don't think so. Not the one I was talking about. IT comedy show. Oh, it's called the IT Crowd or the It Crowd. I don't know if it's the It Crowd or the IT Crowd. That was the show, the IT Crowd. Let's see. Max says, only reason Bears finished third is because Minnesota has no idea how to run a football team. Oh, shots fired. Catch. Kyle says, not to bring up a bad subject, but has 5-star Matt improved his communication at all? Yes, actually he has quite a bit. I was really pissed and I told him as much. I'm like, dude, you've got to communicate. No, he's been much better. I haven't had any issues with his communication lately. Kyle has a stack of cards for PSA trying to decide how to submit. Come on up to Madison tomorrow. George missed creamed corn. David says, sweet corn is a variety of corn on the cob. There are corn on the cob which are not sweet. Yes. So, yeah, corn on the cob that, I mean, most fields you see with corn, I mean, it's all corn on the cob. Like all corn in a field is corn on the cob. But if you're driving through Iowa, which they know they're sweet corn, if you're driving through Iowa and you pull off on the side of the road and you just walk into the field and grab some corn, there's a pretty high likelihood it's not sweet corn and it's going to be feed corn and it's going to taste like shit if you try to eat it. So you need the sweet corn. Typically, sweet corn is grown in its own fields. It's not mixed in with feed corn, or usually it's small plots where people grow. And usually people that grow sweet corn are sweet corn sellers. Like they'll have a hay rack out in front of their country farm, and they'll be selling ears of corn. Going rate, man, talk about inflation. Have you seen the price of sweet corn? Ooh. Like I remember back in the day, like you pull off the side of the road on a back road in rural Wisconsin, and it's the honor system. There's a jar. It's $2 a dozen. Now it's like $8 a dozen, I think. So corn, basically all corn comes on the cob, but there's different varieties. So don't go into it. Don't find a field and think it's sweet corn. Max says sweet corn is a type of corn. George says we got that cattle corn on the cob here in Korea. Ain't got no sweet in it. Brian says there are a lot of issues with 1976 football. Sometimes there are bumps all over the card like acne. Do I have my 76 box in here? I think these are 75s. My 76 box is in the other room. Zach says, Max, what is your honest, unfiltered opinion on the new TCG stuff in Madison? Will more dealers bring in more traffic that will help you? Does the setup work? Max has no comment. Max doesn't like competition. George says, but if you want sweet in Korea, just go buy some garlic bread. That gritty stuff on top ain't salt. Mikey's in the house. Hey, belated happy birthday. I think Mikey's birthday was yesterday. Max, if the new concept was an NFC North football team, which one would it be? Zach stirring the pot this morning. Brian says, Tory Taylor is an Australian treasure, like the steak I had the other night. Bradley's in the house. Most training camps open Monday. This Monday. Nice. Bears haven't been in Bourbonnais in a few years. Oh, really? Training camp's not in Bourbonnais anymore? Well, son of a bitch. It's at Hallis. So is it open to the, like, can fans go? And I do know that like most training camps or most NFL teams wanted their training camps held like at their own NFL facilities. This started happening in the late 90s, early 2000s. Back in the 90s, Wisconsin had like the most training camps. There were like 8 NFL training camps throughout the state of Wisconsin back in the early to mid 90s. I think even like when Jacksonville and Carolina came in, I think one of those teams, if not both, trained in Wisconsin. The Bears were in Platteville, of course, the Packers. Who else? I think the Kansas City Chiefs trained in Wisconsin. The Saints might have trained in Wisconsin. I'll have to look it up. But the Rams, when they moved to St. Louis, they started training in Macomb. And they trained there from, I think, 96 up until would have been my second year there. Last year would have been 04. And then 05, they went to St. Louis and trained it in St. Louis. And I think more and more teams are doing that. Dan says, had one dealing with them and didn't like the way they handled my order. Bradley says, best sweet corn is the bi-color. Peaches and cream, baby. That's the best. The peaches and cream. Brian says, sports car dealers have been shady ever since I started in the 80s. All the scams last few years, and people will give their cards willy-billy to group submitter. Crazy. Kyle says, yes, I have submitted 3 times with Matt. First time was great. The other 2, I was worried I would never see the cards again. You will see the cards. You will see the cards. George says, we got a corn festival in town this weekend. 80 cents an ear. Korea is expensive. That is kind of, so I think it's about $8. I think. I can't remember what I paid. The sweet corn I got, I just bought at the grocery store, and it was actually really good. So so that is expensive. Yeah. So what's that come out to? Is that like $12? I can't do math in the morning. 80 times 12, $9.60, almost $10 a dozen. Brian says, trust is one financial problem away from getting screwed. Brian says, I will make the pilgrimage to Madison, just not sure which month. After 2 vacations this past month, I'm on a spending hiatus. Max says, nobody likes competition. LOL. Zach, the third room took over 1,000 out of my pocket. What do you think my opinion on more is? Just spreads the same money out. McComb and the Rams were so cool as a kid to visit. Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner signed for me. That ball, however, is long gone. Yeah, I remember getting Kurt Warner's autograph before he was Kurt Warner. He was just a third-string quarterback from Northern Iowa. Yeah, those were the days, man. Bradley says, yes, Wisconsin had the Cheese League, Saints and Lacrosse, Bears and Platteville, Vikings. Oh, the Vikings, yeah. Was, I think, Whitewater maybe? Jaguars were in Stevens Point for 1 year. All right, now I got to look this up. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs were in Lacrosse, was it? All right, we're going to look up Wisconsin training camp. Oh, I'm going to sign it. Because I think there were maybe not 8, maybe it was 6, but I'm pretty sure all right, Wisconsin training camp. Let's look up like 1990 to 1994. Welcome to the Cheese League. All right. State milked by national media. Fans and media are flocking to NFL training camps in Green Bay and River Falls, homing in on superstars Reggie White and Joe Montana like mice sniffing out a piece of cheddar. This is from the Leader Telegram in what city is this based out of? I don't know. Whatever the Leader I don't know. Wisconsin training camp circuit, which includes the Chicago Bears in Platteville, the New Orleans Saints in Lacrosse, Kansas City Chiefs in River Falls, and the Packers in Green Bay, is drawing unprecedented nationwide attention. Okay, so this would have been before. So that was 93. So that was only, what, 4 teams? Let's see. Let's look up 1995, 96. So I think I was delivering newspapers. Or let's look up to 97. Might have been by the late night. Date. Search. There we go. Let's see. Oh, that's not good. Saints had some trouble at training camp in 1995. Yeah, the Jaguars. The Jaguars were in, I think he said where Stevens Point. I don't think it says here, but yeah. All right. Zach says fans can go, but limited and not the same at all. Bourbonnais would have been crazy this year with Taylor being there. That is the pick I care most about. And Hard Knocks. I mean, Hard Knocks I'm excited for Hard Knocks. Usually Hard Knocks is a show that I watch like one episode, a couple episodes, and then it's just kind of But the Bears, obviously, I'll be more interested. Zach gets it. It will be interesting to see how it all shakes out. 8 is crazy expensive. Bradley says Chiefs in River Falls. Let's play Name That Player. We have a fresh leaderboard. It is wiped clean. There it is. Let's play Name That Player. We have a mix of modern-ish. Better get my phone out. We have a mix of modern-ish cards. We have baseball. Only one football. It's a vintage football card. And a few celebrity cards that usually only Uncle Rich knows. All right, let's bring up YouTube so we don't have any issues. Let's get the live chat going. Oh, take this time to like the button. Hit the like button. Live chat. There we go. All right. We're going to open things off. Name That Player new round with baseball. This is a modern-ish card from the early 2000s. Kansas City Royals. Who is this guy? Name That Player. A new round begins now. Not Perez. This is from 2004. So I think that predates Salvi. Kansas City Royals. It is not Martinez. Let's see. It is not Angel Baroa. It is not Raul Ibanez. It is not Butler, but Max got it. It is Juan Gonzalez. Juan Gonzalez. Uncle Rich says his eyes aren't doing well today. Max with the first point. Name that player. Oh, there we go. All right. Next up, it's baseball. We call this ultra modern. Ultra modern. Chicago Cubs 2024 Topps Series 2. Uncle Rich is 10 minutes behind. Luke Little is correct. Max with the point. Luke Little at 6'8". All right, Max, 2 for 2. All right, next up, we're going to Hollywood. Uncle Rich, refresh your browser because I think this one's all you. Hollywood, baby. Who is this guy? John says Max is going to get 50 in a row this time. Uncle Rich says some guy I don't know. Can you even see it yet? It is not Dean Martin. Some good guesses. It is Tony Bennett. Dan, Korean cardboard. Let's see. Oh, wait, no. Minneapolis Kid. Minneapolis Kid got it way up there. Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett. Minneapolis Kid, welcome back. All right, next up, vintage baseball. Vintage baseball. Dan says no stop. I don't know why he says no stop. Minneapolis Kid says reports of my death have been slightly exaggerated. All right, vintage. Chicago Cubs. This is a tough one. Dan must be behind. Dan didn't get the point. Scott, yes. Gonzalo Marquez. Wow. Scott Hermanson. Very nice. Scott Hermanson with the point. Let's see. All right. Next up, modern. All right. Brian's got to go to work. Dan, you didn't get the point. You're okay. All right. Next up, modern. Kansas City Royals. Bobby Witt, yes. John Maybe. Let's see. John Maybe, yes. John Maybe with the point. And next we're going junk wax. Junk wax. Who's this Dodger from the junk wax era? This is this 93? Zell. Not Zell, not Zeal. Not Green, not Karos, not Dave Hansen, not Billy Ashley, not Marshall, not Hansen, not Karos. Sorry, I had it raised. I was reading the see. I haven't seen it yet. Not Steve Sachs. Should I give a hint? He's known for the Montreal Expos. Tim Wallach. Yes, Uncle Rich. More known for the Montreal Expos. Tim Wallach is correct. Uncle Rich on the board. Oh, and the lawnmower guy is here. You can see, there he is, the lawnmower guy. Uncle Rich. That guy took my job, and I don't regret it. Let's see. All right, next up, vintage football. This is our only football of the game. This is a tough one. Doesn't even say which team. I'm going to let it sit here for a second before I give any clues. Don't need to. Max got it. I think Max was the first. Let's see. Max got it just ahead of Uncle Rich. Ahmad Rashad. Didn't even have to give any clues. Ahmad Rashad. So Max, 3 points. Next, we're going back to Hollywood. Get ready, Uncle Rich. Actually, this is an easy one. I think this will be much easier than Tony Bennett. And Tony Bennett, I think a few of you got. That is an Ahmad Rashad rookie card. And I didn't know that until Zach mentioned it. All right, Hollywood. This is pretty easy. I think we'll get several correct answers on this one. Angela Lansbury, and they come streaming in. Fastest fingers, Max. He's got 4. Murder, She Wrote, Angela Lansbury. And that's 4 points for Max. Next, we're going baseball. Modern baseball. Not ultra modern, but modern-ish, even though it's been 20 years since this card was released in 2003. Yes, it is Adrian Beltre. First one. Nick in the house. Adrian Beltre. Nick on the board. Nick, you coming to the Madison Card Show tomorrow? Nick Budden, 1 point. Next up, we're going back to the 70s. Dan says, recheck. Am I showing number 2? Let's see. We're going to the YouTube. I've got Nick number 1, Nick number 1, Dan number 2, Max number 3, Scotty 4, SoCal Guy 5, Rich 6. Now we're in the 70s. Nick's camping. He won't be in Madison tomorrow. All right, the 70s. This is a fun name. A funny name. 1974 Topps. I'm pretty sure this is a part of Logan Ward's sophomoric slabs collection. It is Dick Sharon. Dick Sharon. And I think Uncle Rich got that one. Yes. Dick Sharon. Uncle Rich now at 2. Moving on up. Oh, we're going back to Hollywood on the next card. All right. So we got Max at 4, Rich at 2. All right. Uncle Rich has 2 friends. Oh, wait, no. He has a friend with 2 kids. One named Richard and one named Sharon. He bought all those cards. All right, next up, Hollywood. I only want the actor name. I won't take any character names. So only the actor name. Only the actor name. Because he is known as a couple of his character names. Hollywood. Towards the end of his career, he was in a great movie that I loved and still love today. It is Jack Lemmon. I think the Minneapolis Kid was first. Dan's going to ask for a recheck. So, Dan, I am rechecking for you. You were second again, behind the Minneapolis Kid. Jack Lemmon. Minneapolis Kid with 2 points. All right. Last card. We're making it a good one. It's a Chicago Cubs card. It's a Chicago Cub. Dystemic says, hello, moron. Yes, Grumpy Old Men. Great movie. It is not Kerry Wood. It's Mark Pryor. All right, we had a lot of Mark Pryors coming in. Nick again. Nick's camping, but he's got that fast internet at the campground. Mark Pryor. Nick with 2, so we wrap up our new game. Move Nick up the leaderboard here. Nick with 2. Okay. Oop, there we go. All right. So here's the leaderboard in our new round. Max with the lead, 4 points. Uncle Rich, the Minneapolis Kid, and Nick with 2. And we've got Scott Hermanson and John Mabey with 1 point apiece. Dan says, fuck! F-Bomb Friday. All right. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. It's 99centcards.com. A whole bunch of 70s cards. Added baseball, football, basketball. Buy 7 or more. You'll save 25% off at checkout if you buy those at regular price. Dat Dude says, good connection, bad guesses. Thought I had Rashad first. No, you were, let's see, Rashad. Ahmad Rashad. Let's see. Max was first. Rich was second. Dat Dude was third. Let's see. Philly Joe, thank you. Tomorrow, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive. There it is. We've got 4 rooms open. A new TCG room on the first floor in the Badger State room. That's down the hallway to the right. We've got the Williamson Ballroom to the back right on the first floor, the State Street Ballroom back left. We've got the upstairs Capitol Ballroom and the Mezzanine. 200 dealer tables. Tomorrow, July 20th, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolen Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Show hours. Early birds are welcome. Admission is free. Come out and see us tomorrow in Madison. Like, subscribe. No show, obviously, tomorrow for Hobby Evolution. We'll be back on Sunday morning, 8:30-ish is kind of what we do on the weekends, sometime around that time. So pop in and we'll review the Madison Card Show. Also, either Sunday or Monday morning, I'll be picking up a whole bunch of cards from the Singles Club on their way to the National next week. So I may do a video and show what I bought from the Singles Club. Singles Club coming to me. So I'll put that video out at some point whenever we do that deal. Alrighty, that's going to do it for now. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend if I don't see you. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in Madison at the card show. If not, Sunday morning, Hobby Evolution. See you then.